Yo, 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 what up, lifers? What up, lifers? What up, lifers? It's Dave Life. It's Dave Life. You're watching Dave Life After Dark. Dave Life After Dark. This episode is called Reversing Generational Curses. Reversing Generational Curses. Yo, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us tonight. I want to say thank you, man. I appreciate y'all for joining. Let's start this off like we always do, the right way. Heavenly Father, have your way, Lord. I pray that you would speak to your people, Lord. I pray that you would enlighten us, entertain us, and inform us. Help us have a great conversation tonight, Lord. I pray less of me and more of you. Step me out of the way as we deal with the topic of reversing generational curses. Father, forgive us for our sins that we've committed by commission and omission. Forgive us and charge it to our head, not our hearts. We give you all the praise, glory, and honor, and ask that you would guide us in this conversation. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, and amen. Yo, what's up, man? So, like I said, the discussion today is reversing generational curses. Reversing generational curses, and you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us tonight, man. Thank you. Look, if you want to support Dave Life After Dark and Dave Life TV, you can hit us on Cash App at $ Dave Life TV. Hit us on Cash App at $ Dave Life TV. You can hit us on Venmo at Dave Life. Send us some tip money, some hookah money, some food money, and I'll make sure that it gets to the panelists appropriately. All right, you guys. So today we're gonna talk about this whole concept of reversing generational curses. And I want to bring up some people that's going to help me. I got a few people that's in the building. I see my sister from another mister. I think she's going to help us understand reversing curses. You know what though? I just love the fact she's from a different culture. You know, it ain't gonna all be based on the black hand side. We got the brown side in the building too. So come on to the building, my friend Michelle. What's up, Michelle?
Hi. How is everybody doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. Hold on, let me give you your music, Michelle. Hold on. Where we at? Okay, there we go. I got it. Yeah, I can't take away the vibe. I got to leave the vibe going. Cheers, Michelle. What you drinking tonight?
Cheers. Cosmo.
Sweet. We're gonna discuss that. All right.
Yeah.
I see another lady in the building. This young lady right here has been on the show before, but she has not been on the new YouTube version in a minute. I hope she's ready. Her name is well, you know what? I gotta ask her. Is this related to a drink? Her name is Mo24. We call her Moet. Sometimes we call her by her full name, Monica. Come on to the stage, Mo. What's up, Mo?
Hey, how's everybody?
What's up? Welcome back to After Dark, Mo.
It's been a while, but glad to be here.
Been a minute. Welcome back. And we're going to try to get into something that you can help us with, which will be reversing generational curses. I know we had a great discussion. I was this close to changing the topic. I was like,
don't do it.
I said if I hadn't sent that out to the crew, I would change it on the fly. But I had already prepared the graphics and everything. All right, so I got another sister that's gonna help us. She's my sister from another mister. She got a dope name. She does. She's dope. She's a female. She's a trainer. She's a poet. She's a dope female trainer. She has one of the best names out there, Shaq. And she has Shackronyms. Come on to the stage, dope female trainer, Shaq Gervin. What up, Shaq? You gotta unmute for me, Shaq. Come on off mute. There you go. What's up, Shaq?
Hey, what's going on with you?
I'm good.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Likewise.
So Shaq, Mo Shaq. You know Michelle, Shaq. She's been on the show before.
Yes.
Hi.
And
Shaq, I know we had some great conversations offline earlier in the week. So this is believe it or not, this is unrelated to any of that. This is just I was praying about it today, looking at all the list of things, and this is the one that jumped out at me. And for those that wonder how I pick my topics, I look at what's going on throughout the week. I look at what's going on in my life. I look at what's going on in the lives of my friends. You know, when I hear things, I do look at the news. And sometimes I find memes and videos that relate to it. or sometimes a meme or a video that comes across my feed may inspire me. But I always pick something that I feel like God wants me to talk about that day. I do feel that that this show is a passion of mine that God gave me, and He directs me. So if you wonder why did He pick this versus that, I'm just going off of where I believe God is leading me. So people feed me information, they send me things, and then I pray about it, and I go from there. All right. So now I got one more person that's gonna help me. This is my brother. He definitely has a lot of experience in the world in a lot of things. He has a political opinion. I really appreciate that he's on here, but he's also a good friend of mine. He's a brother of mine, and that's why we call him a brother Sherrod. Brother Sherrod.
Hey, what's up, good people? Good to see y'all.
What's going on?
Hi.
Hey, lifers. What's up, lifers?
What's up, brother? How you feeling?
Y'all good?
We good.
Yes, sir.
I just, Shell, I got Reese's Pieces tonight. No drink.
Oh.
Reese's Pieces. That's what
Okay, that's good enough. I like those.
All right. Okay. All right. That's why I'm at.
How is everybody doing this week though, y'all? Yeah, it's just open it up. How y'all feeling? Anybody can discuss. How y'all feel? What's going on?
There's a lot going on this week, man. A lot went on this weekend.
Can't believe it's already Thursday. It's flying by.
Can you
I got
believe it's
so
almost
much stuff
August?
going on. I know.
That's
It's
crazy.
crazy.
I feel like time is moving faster. I tell Destiny this every day. I'm like, I swear, 5 minutes ain't 5 minutes no more. What used to take 5 minutes goes by in like a minute.
Yeah.
And you look up and it's 30-40 minutes. You like, yo, all I did was like shower, as we say, shit, shower, shave. I'm like, where the hell did this time go?
Yeah.
We're in
That's
the
how it
fifth
is
dimension.
every day.
We're in
The
the
more
fifth dimension,
spins on
like
the earth
Interstellar.
you get, the faster
Yeah.
it goes.
That's what they
Time
say.
is relative, but it's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
You know what they say that the more spins around the earth, so the older you get, the faster your life goes. That's what they say. They also say that our entire universe is expanding like at an accelerated rate. And not only that, our galaxy is moving forward. Our solar system is moving forward. Did you know that the sun is moving like this and the planets are rotating around a sun that's streaking like a comet? Yeah, it's crazy. We used to think we're just sitting still and we're all rotating around the sun. Yo, that bad boy is moving. It's like a helix. Ain't that something?
Oh my God, I would love to have Neil deGrasse Tyson on this podcast.
We should.
That's why it's up to us to be guardians of the galaxy.
Guardians of this. That's right. Sweet rabbit. That's right. Sweet rabbit. Yeah, sweet rabbit. You got to remember Thor and Rabbit. They had the whole. Yeah, that's a guy thing.
You gotta watch it.
Yeah, that's a guy thing. Hey, you guys, I want to share something with you, and we're going to discuss this more a little later. But I thought it was a good time to lay down some ground rules. We have a couple of ground rules. Yeah, I don't know if everyone knows we have some ground rules. They were put in a personal chat probably back in I think May 1st was the first time these were put out. But here are the ground rules for those that don't know. Number one, please mute your phone if you clicking and clacking. I'm muting somebody. Yeah, I had to mute. Okay, cool. I muted 2 people. Don't get mad, y'all. All right. All right. So let me turn the music down because I want this to feel. All right. Yeah, we pause music. All right. So look, house rules. Please respect everyone's right to their own personal opinion and perspective. That is super important. All right. Everyone has a right to their own opinion and their own perspective. You may not agree. You may vehemently agree, and that's cool. We can disagree. We can vehemently disagree. But make sure you respect that they have a right to feel that way. That's their perspective. That's their choice. That's how they feel. All right. Number 2, it's okay to have a difference of opinion, but don't attack anyone. I remember last week somebody was asking somebody about their religious affiliations and their cultural affiliations and was all up in their girl. He raising his hand.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I know your personality. I knew it wasn't a personal thing, but some things that translate behind closed doors or in a personal setting, or if you've known somebody for years, it wouldn't translate with someone new and it wouldn't translate on camera. So yeah. So let's make sure that it's okay that everyone has a right to their opinion, but don't attack anyone. 3, this is a friendly discussion show, not a debate show. I want to make that clear. This is a show about conversations and discussion. so we can talk about different perspectives, try to understand them. Maybe we can resolve a problem. Maybe we can help someone. Maybe it's just food for thought. And sometimes it's just entertaining. We talk about stuff and, we laugh, we joke, but it's not a debate show. This is not First Take. So it's not David against Sherrod or, Shaq against, Michelle or Michelle against Dave, or it's not, that's not what it is. So there may be some discourse. There may be some explaining yourself a couple times. Then we'll cut it off and then we'll try to move on to the next point or let the next person get up and say their thing. If someone in the comments is rude or aggressive, let me know and I will pull their comment so we can all discuss whatever their comment is, or I'll remove them from the chat if it's inappropriate. All right. So we're not going to have personal sparring matches with our guests and with our commenters. And I know some commenters are aggressive. Some commenters are trolls. They just want to come for your throat. Okay, say what you got to say, and then let's focus on the show because you're on the show. They're not. They're watching, and we want them to watch, but we're not going to make them a fifth, host of the show or a fifth panelist. All right, don't argue with or be rude to the regular panelists, the guests, the commenters, or the host. So basically, don't argue with nobody. Say what you said. Stand on it. Okay, cool. Maybe we have a round or two to get an understanding, and then we move on to the next topic. Let somebody else say what they got to say. And let's get all of our perspectives out there. We want everybody to have a chance to talk. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that. All right. Look, hey, Parrish said, I love those house rules. Okay. And the house rules love you too, Parrish. I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that. All right. Any questions about the house rules, everybody? Any questions about the house rules? I feel like I need
very crystal clear.
It's crystal clear. All right, cool. Okay, now, something that other people may not have realized is that we do have a format to the show. And I got to pull up my group chat so I can remember how I put this. We do have a format to the show. And the format to the show is a roundtable discussion format. Okay, we have one topic tonight. The topic tonight is, and I lost my screen because I added the other one. The topic tonight is reversing generational curses. There it is. That's the topic. Reversing generational curses. That is the topic tonight. It's going to be a round table discussion where I'm going to play a meme or a video or a concept, and then everyone will have the opportunity to give 2 minutes on it. 2 minutes of their impression, 2 minutes of their thoughts, 2 minutes of their objections, whatever it is. They got 2 minutes roughly. They'll do that. And then we'll have open discussion about this topic. Now, sometimes we have more than one topic. Tonight we have one because, a few people said, hey, let's focus on one thing. So we're going to try that. Okay. Anybody have questions or comments? In fact, do we just want to have any sort of open discussion about any of this? Because I don't want to feel like I'm just giving a monologue.
No, we're waiting for you to play the video so we can get the context.
Oh, we good?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, damn, that was easy. Put your foot down.
We're just here like good students, like
ready.
I'm just making sure we get this shit started so I don't get on a pip. So I don't.
It's okay.
If y'all don't know, a PIP is a performance improvement plan at work.
Yeah, I know exactly where that is from.
When they say, yeah, bro, you ain't performing this week.
I'm not listening to any of that shit.
This guy right here. All right, let me see.
I'm gonna say whatever the hell I'm gonna say.
Here this guy goes. See,
just being real, man.
Taking the friendship to the next thing.
Yeah.
All right.
House rules. What is this? I feel like I'm in a bikers club and I'm a interest. No, what do they call prospect? I'm a prospect. So let me make sure.
You're a neophyte. You're a neophyte.
Neophyte. Yeah.
That's right. All right. You're uninitiated.
Nice.
Welcome to After Dark. All right. What is a generational curse? Does anybody know what that term means? What does it bring to mind? And it's open to whoever wants to discuss.
For me, a generational curse is a belief that has been adopted by anyone that came after. Let's say it is a belief that has been adopted and accepted because of the understanding of the of the person who said it, but not for the understanding of the person who's living it. Let's say, for instance, you have women who have been, who have the belief of we're strong, we don't need a man. You handle your business on your own because men are not dependable. Now that was a curse because of what it may have created for that particular person, but because that particular person has actually enforced it in their household, no matter what the rest of the next generation has actually endured or encountered, they're gonna adopt that particular belief because that's the rules of the house. It becomes a
Mm,
curse because you do as I say, not as I do. Or in this house, we do this. And it becomes a practice. It becomes a standard, a moral, a value in the household, regardless if you've gone through it or not. This is what I was raised to believe, regardless of what if I've gone through it or not. That is a generational curse.
okay. So it's a belief system in a house that's kind of passed down, or whether it's right or wrong.
Right.
You know, it's passed down, and it's do as I say, not as I do.
What was I
This is what
saying?
we've always done. This is who we are. You know, and this is how we move, that sort of thing, right?
So it's
Absolutely.
breaking tradition, pretty much. Is that what it is? Sort of?
Mm-mm. No,
No?
it's. Well, I'll let other people speak. Anybody else want to speak on it?
I believe it's just a repeated transgression. Like it could be a belief, it could be an action, it could be multiple types of different things because we have teenage pregnancy. That could be looked at as a generational curse. You have 3 or 4 generations of women who got pregnant, before the age of 18. There's
Okay.
reasons why that repeats.
So
Yeah,
it's
Not just
something.
I think
It's
you.
something that repeats.
Yeah, Moy, I think you're right. It's I was actually having this conversation this past weekend because my daughter just turned 16, and we were talking about generational curse. I think it's a behavior, right?
right.
It's a behavior that is a pattern that is learned over and over and over. So I was having this conversation with a friend of mine, and he was like, "Man," he said, "I'm not an alcoholic, or I don't drink as much as." I don't drink like that. And I said, well, okay, well, I just asked you to have a beer. I didn't ask you to have a keg. And he said, the reason I don't drink like that because my father drank like that and his father
Hmm.
drank like that. So I want to break that pattern. I don't want to. I know better, so I want to do better. So
Hmm.
I think that generational curse. And I was talking to my cousin, man. It's so profound that we're talking about this because every generation has a ceiling that may be socially, financially,
Right.
economically, or even just educationally. So they're only going to be able to go up to their ceiling or their where what they're capable of understanding and
Yeah.
doing.
Best
And the
level of
minute and the
understanding.
minute you go outside that box and you say, "Oh, we're not doing this in my house because I saw it done differently," you're already breaking a generational curse. You want to have a home because you never grew up in a home because maybe there wasn't the means in order to have a home. So it's a behavior. So what do I need to do to aspire to get a home? I need to get good credit. I need to get a good job. I need to get someone who I can build with. So because you either building or you destroy, like we always talk about. So that generational cushion said, I'm not going to not have a home just because I didn't grow up in a home. And that's because they've always done it that way. I've learned and been exposed that that's not how I want to live, right? So you're breaking a generational curse of not having because you didn't have the means. So you figured out how to get the means to be better.
Right.
And again, it's one of those things, educationally, socially, financially. You figured it out. The problem is trying to change the mindset of someone who is generationally impoverished and can't see past that ceiling. That's the problem, Shell.
And that's why I call it a transgression because you have things
Mhm.
out there, they're outside of a chosen behavior pattern because we have multiple generations of people who have been molested or
Sure,
things that sort that you don't choose that for yourself. But
you do
these
not.
things have happened to the grandmother, the mother, or even the father, the
Right.
son, and the grandson. It's not spoken about, but or it's spoken to a certain point. Everybody reaches, like you said, their mental capacity, their ceiling. You know, before we begin really diving into some of these things and trying to break these curses.
Yeah, I'm here. Y'all. I was grabbing information online. All right,
Okay.
so was that an earthquake?
We were waiting for Michelle's take on.
You need to mute your phone, sir. I mean, I think that was number 3 on the list.
Oh, right. I'm trying. No, I was just like, yo,
Respect my sound. I mean, it's one of them.
we good. All right, so I'm hearing that it can be traditions that are handed down that can be negative. Like Shaq, I'm paraphrasing what you said, Shaq, which is like, this is how we've always done it in our family. This is what we do. Do as I say, not as I do. And certain curses can be passed down through the generations because things don't get talked about. Does that sound about right? All right.
Yeah.
And then you said transgressions, Mo. You said that we may take on things that we didn't ask for, like being molested. We didn't ask for that. But that may be something that can happen across generations if it ain't addressed.
Right.
Okay. And
Right.
then Michelle, I know you mentioned tradition. You were asking, you saying something.
Because I was trying to get the gist of it. Is it breaking tradition? And by tradition, I mean it could be either negative or positive, but some sort of pattern, breaking the pattern of the generation, be the generation that stops doing something, or it being different from a family. Because I mean, I can totally identify with that with my experience. So I think I understand what it is, and especially Mexican culture is very much like that, like very, very focused on tradition. Yeah.
Okay, so the idea of breaking a generational curse is definitely where we're going. We're going down the road of hold on, somebody who is clanging. Is that you, Michelle?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I'm like, it sounds like you in a restaurant. I'm like, I'm hearing.
Yeah, Juan is taking care of dinner and drinks, and he's making a clacking, so I'm gonna mute myself.
Oh, Juan is in the kitchen. Okay, did he have on an apron? You know, okay.
Another generational curse. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I wanted to finish what I was saying to Michelle. So Michelle, it is the generational curse is when something is passed down from, mother to father, mother to child, or father to child, to grandchild, to great grandchild, and and it's like, it's normally not that we're, in our family, we cook, turkey every Thanksgiving, and we have dressing that's made like this. That's a tradition. But the curse is usually something traumatic, something negative, some ideology that isn't talked about, that's just forever passed down. And it's not that it's a good ideology either. And our kids start doing we did it because our parents did it. So that's kind of the idea of the generational side of it. Go ahead, Shaq. You wanted to add something.
Health. Well, my grandma had high blood pressure. So mom may have high blood pressure. So that means I'm going to have high blood pressure. Or my grandmama was overweight. She was big boned. So my mama was big boned. So that means I'm going to be big boned. Those are curses too. However, and it's a mindset thing. It definitely has a lot to do with the mindset. The fact that your grandmama and your mama were a certain way because it's what they practice. And so when you practice the same thing, you're going to get the same thing. But that doesn't mean that because they did it, you have to follow the same suit. So think about it in that perspective as well.
So I heard two things. I heard my mama big boned it. Boom, I'm gonna be big boned it. Hey, I say this. My daddy was a player. I'm gonna be a player, right? My mama has diabetes. I'm gonna have I got diabetes. So I'm hearing two things there. I'm hearing mindset. I'm actually hearing three things. I'm hearing mindset. I'm hearing genetics, and I'm hearing lifestyle. Because we just touched on a few things. Because let's be honest, alcoholism can be inherited. If you smoke crack, your child can be born literally dependent upon crack. So we do know that there are some things that can be passed down in the DNA that a child may be predispositioned to that they didn't ask for. We also know that there are mindsets and habits. Oh man, we eat McDonald's after every basketball game. That's what my daddy did. I did that when I was with my dad. Now me and my son, after every basketball game, we getting a Big Mac or whatever the habit is. Whatever the habit is, those mindsets can be passed down. And the mindset of, hey man, we just thick in this house. We just thick. That's how we built. We thick, we big boned it. So we ain't never gonna be no skinny mini. And you never know. You might have somebody in the family that actually eats healthier, manages their calories, keeps their metabolism up, and they don't get quote unquote big boned it. They are actually a slim, And I do get that some people are just born with wider hips, wider shoulders. I get that. Some people are born slimmer. So you can't change certain things, but you definitely don't have to let it turn into a curse. Okay. All right. I want to share a couple of things. Now, I will tell you guys, we getting scriptural tonight only because, at least in my perspective, this was the beginning of it. So when I looked up generational curses, it basically said it originally started from this verse in the Bible. All right. So Exodus 25:6, you shall not bow down to them or worship them, meaning idol gods. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generations to those that hate me. That right there is where at least the original biblical concept of something being passed from generation to generation is saying, basically, if you worship false gods, I will punish your children for the sins of the parents all the way down to the third and fourth generations. And then, but showing love to 1,000 generations for those who love me and keep my commandments. All right. And that's important because that's like the first mention that I remember. And that's what a lot of ministers use when they say generational curses. All right, there. That was that. Now, just to also share how some things have progressed. This is another verse. There's a verse in Ezekiel, which basically says, the one who sins shall die. Because somebody might say, oh man, generational curses. Why my children and my children's children gonna deal with what I'm dealing with? Well, in Ezekiel 18, the word of God says, the soul that sins shall die. It says, what do people mean by quoting this proverb about the land of Israel, that the parents eat sour grapes and the children's teeth are set on edge, meaning the children are paying for what their parents ate. Verse 3, as surely as I live, declares the sovereign Lord, you will no longer quote this proverb in Israel, for everyone belongs to me, the parent as well as the child. Both alike belong to me. The one who sins is the one who will die. Now, thank you for bearing with me as I went biblical. I know everybody didn't want to go to church tonight, but I wanted to make the point that the original verse talking about curses and things going from generation to generation for worshiping idol gods, that's there. It's in the word. It's real. But what's also real is that later on, he says, the soul that sins shall die. Don't quote the verse saying, oh, my parents ate, a lot of sugar, so therefore I got cavities. He said, no. You're responsible for your own cavities. You're responsible for your own decisions. You have autonomy. And you're responsible for what's going on. And you're responsible for what's going on in your life. So we can't blame our parents, parents, even though we can inherit things, Shaq. Even though, Michelle, traditions can be passed down, which aren't the greatest. Sherrod, we can be, abused or, I'm just using examples everybody said. Transgressions can be taught and can be passed down and can be hidden, little hidden family secrets. I get all of that. But according to the word of God, as far as what I believe, in the book of Ezekiel, he said that stuff can stop. That stuff can stop. Let's pause right there for the cause and let's just get a reaction to just the whole idea of, okay, maybe there were things that could be cursed, but there's also now an opposing verse which says, hey, it doesn't have to be a curse. It can be stopped. And you can be responsible for yourself. In reactions to that, before we actually get into the memes.
So a lot of times, when you talk about being biblical, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying, and a lot of people say, oh, he's paying for the sins of his fathers. So based on what you just read and what I'm understanding is, you don't have to pay for the sins of your fathers. You don't have to, right? You can
Right.
change that. That dichotomy can change tremendously. What happens is people sometimes don't allow it to change. So if
Mm.
my father was a drunk, if my father's father was a drunk, sometimes we're just guilty by association, right? It's still that curse we're talking about. um a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times that can be positive or negative. Oh, he's
Mhm.
such and such son, so we don't expect for him to be a certain way, or vice versa. He is such and such son, so we exactly that's
Bronny,
exactly what he's doing. We
Bronny
expect that.
James, Marcus
Yeah,
Jordan, they expect them to play like they fathers, and they're not
right.
Mhm.
necessarily their fathers.
They're not. So he would not be. But see, so once again, if he was not LeBron's son, he would not be getting the coverage because he's not that good. He's only that good because his father is LeBron. It's not how I feel, is what it is. But what's the generational curse, though? The expectation is there, right?
That's the
Because your
curse.
father was here on the pedestal. We're exactly thinking that you're going to be that guy. So living up to that expectation now becomes in itself a quagmire and a curse because I mean, you can never be Mike and you can never be LeBron. I mean, those are anomalies in the solar system, right? It's just what it is. You don't have the height coming out at 18. You don't have the discipline coming out at 18. It's just different. Um, but a lot of times we get charged with things no matter if we're trying to change that curse or not, because the public perception is what it is. So that's just already there. So folks are already saying, well, we expect for them to do that. And sometimes that goes into classes and also ethnicities too. Like Michelle was talking about earlier about being Mexican. There's already a certain perception about that as well, about a lot of different things, right? And I think a lot of times curses can be on a race or an ethnicity,
Yeah.
which may not be true. All black people don't like fried chicken.
Right.
Now, I,
Right.
for one, like fried chicken, but all black folk don't like fried
Don't
chicken,
like fried chicken.
and some people can get offended by that. But
Mm-hmm.
there's a fundamental reason why black people like fried chicken. If you know your history,
Right.
that's a
Mm-hmm.
whole nother topic, a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. But a
Yeah.
lot of times, my whole point being, we get blamed sometimes because of the sins of our fathers, and that's why that curse still presses us down per se. Because your dad wasn't shit, you ain't shit.
Yeah.
I
He
expect
ain't
for
gonna
your
be
son
shit.
not to be shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you believe that, you can.
Yes.
And look. A lot of us are formed by our families and by our environments. So if every man in your family says, "Yeah, man, we drink up in here," woo, 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 and everything you hear is drinking from the time you 2 to the time you 12. When someone presents a drink, you might have a drink one day. If all you hear is player, pimp, hustler, hey man, your daddy a pimp, you a pimp. Hey, you a thug. Nigga, you come from a thug side of the family. Nigga, you pimp, Dave.
Like a
I hear
badge
you.
of honor. Like a badge of
Yeah.
honor.
You're forced into it based on what expectations are put on you,
Hmm.
But
right?
we all know it goes well beyond words though in those scenarios as
Hmm.
well.
Talk about it.
It's not just because, oh, we drink in here and that's just what we do. Hey, have a drink, nephew. No, it's, hey, pull up to the table. Drink that, man. What your I hate to use
Peer
the P
pressure.
word, but yeah, it's a lot of peer pressure. They force you into it. You have people out there who, they want their child, their son or their daughter to be a certain way, so they expose them and have them participate in things that, they're too young for.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Sex for that matter. I want to make my son a man. So they go buy him a hooker, to introduce him to sex and this is how it's supposed to be done. Or for girls, oh,
Hmm.
I want you to be the best feminine woman you could be. So they're waxing their girls at 11 years old.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It goes well
Hmm.
beyond just words. There are
Hmm.
actions that a lot of times are taken, whether they're, small or large. People are impressing and putting forth to make sure that you follow suit.
Hmm.
And children don't have a say so in a lot of homes of color. We're often in homes of a dictatorship. Like Shaq said earlier, do as I say, not as I do. If I say
Hmm.
you're going to do this, you're going to do it.
Hmm.
There's no question. There's no back talk in that exchange. I said, do it, that's it. And that
Yeah.
carries on into your adulthood. A lot of, as Black people, the last time you got a whooping from your parents, if you grew up that way.
Man, I
Your last
was
whooping wasn't
I was
at 12.
15. No, I was 15.
Right, going into your teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but in my opinion, that would be inappropriate. But
Yeah.
our parents during that time, based on the things that they lived through and knew of, they felt it was appropriate to continue to do that, trying to save us and protect us from the world. That was their ration for it.
We did a whole show on whooping and corporal punishment, right? And whether you should spank your children or not. And it was a great show. I suggest you guys go look at it. I'll find the episode number and tell you in a moment. But we did a whole show on that, and it came out that, we do corporal punishment, whipping, spanking, popping, whatever you want to call it, based on what our parents did. And our parents might have got it from their parents, and their parents might have got it from slavery.
Absolutely.
That's where it comes from.
Right. At least in the Black community. Right. And it's
Right.
oh, okay. So why don't we spank? And then that was really deep. I want to play this clip because someone said, do as I say, not as I do. I want to play this clip because this is illustrating that concept that our kids, they're not becoming what we're telling them to become. They're becoming what we're showing them. Our children are. Take a look at this.
Kids do not become who you want them to become. They become who you are. It ends with me. The anger in my family ends with me. The drugs, the alcohol in my family ends with me. The lying, the manipulating, it ends with me.
So the concept there, you guys, is that he's saying that we don't become who they tell us to. We become them, our parents. And that's taking the generational curse idea down to the genetic level. Like, yeah, you could say what you want to your children. Don't drink that liquor. Hey, don't mess with corn, liquor, and women. Hey, they wave their finger at you when you're a baby, tell you not to do all that. Then when you hit 15, 16, 17, somebody offer you some liquor. You say, maybe. And then you try it, and it's like, bam, here comes all the generational DNA type things that are in there. And you kind of get lost off the sauce faster than your boys. Or you start chasing girls early because, even though they say don't do it, you're watching them chase women. So now you chasing women, you 12, you fast. You 13, 14, 15, you super fast. You talking like you a 29-year-old player because of what you've seen. Thoughts on that, man? That our children become who we are.
Yeah.
I have always believed that children would do exactly what they see. So much so the word child stands for copying how I live daily. So they do they actually match what they see. You can sometimes see a young girl who will go and put on her mama's shoes and put on some pearls or whatever, and she's imitating what she sees. And vice, yeah, but sometimes it can be a badge of honor for a mother, but for the most part, you have a lot of young girls who have been stripped of their childhood because of the anger that their mama and their father have, and they're actually speaking that into existence into their children's head, which means that whatever they've heard, it becomes their reality to the point where it's sad because they've been robbed their childhood. Their new identity, they now identify with what their parents went through, and they've adopted that. So it actually screws them up for what could have possibly been a great start for a curse breaker.
Yeah. We ain't gonna let you slide though. We call that's acronym. We call that acronym child.
I love that. I love that acronym. That is so appropriate.
Child.
Because if you
Copying
understand the
how-
psychology of children, that's exactly how they learn. Adolescents learn by what they see and try and fail, basically.
Yeah.
But it's all based off what they witness.
Uh-huh.
What you say is irrelevant.
But you do.
Kids become what they see.
Absolutely.
Children, infants, the reason why you're so particular about your preschool for your child, why? Is because your child's going to look at the next little toddler and say, oh, they're tying their shoes. I want to tie mine too. Or, oh, they like peas. I want to try some peas too. That doesn't stop at that age. It continues.
They're absorbing.
And the more people who participate in the activity, the more appealing it becomes. So you tell your child not to drink, but yet every day when you come home, you have a drink. With every meal, you have a drink.
Mm.
Every time you celebrate, you have a drink. And it's not just you that they see do it. It's mom, it's dad, it's uncle, auntie, it's everybody on TV, it's their friends' parents. Everyone around them drinks. So if it's so bad, why does everyone do it? That doesn't make sense.
Right. We've normalized bad behavior. That's exactly what it is.
Right.
You're right.
Right.
We normalize it.
So
Yeah.
we want to try and hold children to standards that really don't exist. Or at least we're not willing to, take, get rid of the cop out on it. Explain what drinking really does and what it means to you and why you do it. And then maybe you might get a different outcome. Show them how to drink responsibly. Other countries let children drink.
They do.
Absolutely.
They teach them how to do it responsibly.
Correct.
There was a 2-year-old little boy. He saw his mama on the floor in the kitchen. She was hurting. She was like, she was hurting. And he went in, he got right beside her. He said, and laid down on the floor just like her. So he was imitating.
Yep.
It's like they're absorbing what they see.
Everything.
So they absorb it all. So you have to be
Everything.
very careful. So when you speak, make sure you put a little goodness on the words that speak from your mouth, because you just may be listening. That child may be listening as well.
So I heard something come out of this conversation. I heard nature versus nurture, and I have to ask a question. The video that we played said our children don't become what we tell them; they become who we are. Meaning,
what they see.
What they see also could mean their predilections based on DNA. Also could mean, I'll just leave those two things. So I'll say DNA and nurture. So nature would be DNA. It was in you. You have a weakness for liquor because your father was an alcoholic. You are predisposed to diabetes because it runs in your family. You're predisposed to high blood pressure or cholesterol. Boom. All right, that's nature. Nurture would be, hey man, all your uncles do it. Mom and dad have a drink. Mrs. Jones has a drink. Teacher Smith has a drink. Whatever. You see it. So now it's like, okay, everybody's doing it. Or a bunch of kids around town are doing it, what have you. So which one rules out, nature or nurture, or are they kind of equal in you guys' opinion?
I think nature could be, it's subjective if you ask me. I say that because everybody in my family have been diagnosed with high blood pressure. I don't have that. Never had it. My blood pressure is fine, but I have Parkinson's. Whereas nurture is a mindset thing, which means I don't like how you act. When you do this, you hurt my feelings. And it makes me, and I don't want to be that way. So I'm gonna take what you're doing and I'm gonna do differently because I don't like how you make me feel. So it's a shift in the mind. It's like you treat my daddy like that, or you treat him. I don't like that. It makes me, and because I don't like how it feels, or the fact that I didn't have a dad in my life, I'm gonna be the best dad I know how to be because I know how to feel to not have a dad. Or my mama did this. I don't like how it makes me feel, so I'm gonna make sure I do the best I can to make sure that my child don't feel like that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So nature is subjective; it can be overcome. Nurture is a mindset. The battlefield is the mind. I said that today. The battlefield is a mind, and I believe Joyce Myers had a book like that back in the '90s. Great book. Joyce Myers it was about spiritual warfare, but it was that the battle starts in our mind. Um, and that kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier today, Mo, when we were having a discussion about the patriarchy and gender roles in the family. You know, a lot of times it's how we see it when it comes to our relationship, husband and wife. Like, we can look at it one way, but if our mindset is different, we can look at it another way. It's still the same structure. It's still the same gender roles, but how you view it could determine how you respond. You know, that's kind of what I pulled from what we were saying earlier. I know everybody else
Yeah,
didn't.
title is just a title until you put intention and actions behind them. I mean, you can call one thing numerous different names, but it's what
Right.
you value in that thing. It's your intention behind that thing and how you carry out the actions of that thing that make it what it truly is.
Mhm.
Mm. Damn.
Because you
A
can call
title is
it
just
you
a
can call
title.
it gender roles, and I can just simply call it house rules.
Yeah. Right. Instead of gender roles. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's important. Say that one more time. A title, just a title until you put intention behind it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
intention, rules, and actions. That's what
All right.
support what makes
Absolutely.
that
Because
Okay.
have any value.
if you think about it, that's exactly what you're doing, Dave. Like, how many times have, and I'm not speculating. I'm assuming most men, they've called a woman their wife before, my girl, or
Yeah.
that's my main girl, or that's my
Yeah.
main wife right now. That's my wife. You
No,
put,
ma'am.
I mean, not to quote Beyonce, but like,
Wifey.
put a
You didn't put no ring
put
on
a
it.
ring on it. Put a ring
Yeah.
on it. Like, if you're
Yeah.
really serious about those intentions,
That's real.
put a ring on it.
Hmm.
So if you put a ring on it, that's making a step. Now that may be a long engagement, or that may be a short engagement, or whatever that is. You're showing, say, hey, I'm moving in the direction to be something more than what we are saying.
Okay.
So I dig it.
A
So
title's
that
a
title
title.
and now has meaning. Once you put a
It's
ring on her finger,
purpose.
the
It has
title has
purpose.
Oh.
meaning.
It's
Title has
It
meaning.
purpose.
has value.
All right.
It's
Hey,
purpose.
check this out. I'm gonna hit
Yeah.
y'all with something. Hey, Michelle, excuse my language, all right? I'm about to go black for a moment, black ghetto, and I'm gonna do it because I need to say it like this because there's some people that heard it this way and they're gonna get it. Hey, little nigga, you ain't shit. Your daddy ain't shit. Your granddaddy wasn't shit. You ain't gonna be shit, little nigga. Get over here.
Yeah.
And you hearing that at age 2, 3, 4, 5 from
Yeah.
whomever on the streets, and you're
Mhm.
like, wow. So damn. First of all, I'm nothing but a little nigga. Second of all, I ain't gonna be shit because my dad was shit. My granddad was shit. Now I can believe it and I can walk in it and therefore put intention and action behind it. And now it starts to becoming true. Or I could be like, nah, that ain't that's not no, that's not it. No, that's not the final say for me. No, I don't even believe that. We could add that to you a crybaby. We could add that to you sensitive, you weak. We could add that to for a woman, you too masculine, you kind of boyish, you a tomboy, you kind of hard.
Mhm.
You
Aggressive.
aggressive. Oh, you a tough mama, or whatever they say to little girls to
Yeah.
make them think, oh, okay, well, I just have that aggressive, you know. Oh, like you said, Shaq. Oh, you big bone. Oh, you thick. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that girl big boned it. Yeah, that's how she built. That's how that's how mama built. And maybe so, right? But it's the concept because somebody's I don't know, as an adult, somebody's 40-inch hips as an adult. One person may say, oh, you thick, you big bone, you big. Another person may say, damn, she fine as hell. That's whoo,
Talk about
right?
your perspective. Yeah.
Somebody may say, man, I wish my hips were 40 inches because my hips are 60. I wish I remember when I thought I was big at 40 inches. I was actually a skinny mini. So it's, if we take those, like I said on one of the prior shows, back in the 70s, 80s, man, people in the streets was like, oh, yeah, tar baby, look at you, little darky, little dark skin. You ain't you. And I was like, what they mean by that? And I came home, my mom, my auntie, and them were like, hold on, you handsome. You know what they trying to tell you? They trying to tell you black and you beautiful. That's what that means. You a chocolate drop. You handsome. You this, you that. So at home, I was told your skin complexion is beautiful. You're boom. In the street, I was a tar baby, a sambo, a jigaboo, or whatever else, a coon, whatever negative thing. And I ain't say one word. This wasn't my behavior. They just looked at me and was like, boom, you're black. You are this, you are that. And I was like, yeah, whatever. That's what y'all saying. But at home, I'm being reinforced as being black lovely, handsome, boom, 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 boom. It's a good thing,
Absolutely.
not a bad thing. So I maybe that's why I never in my life looked for validation about my skin tone from anybody, because I got that early, that my skin tone was beautiful, like early. So, but if I listened to the streets, I would have been down on myself, because all they did was down me for being dark. I mean,
I think it's a compound issue with some of the words that we use, especially in our community. I can't really speak for anyone else's, but it's not just the behaviors and everything else, but there's certain words that we carry and use all the time that just add that extra layer of the curse.
Mhm.
Like the example you said, hey, little nigga, you ain't gonna be, da 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 da. The word nigga and the fact that we still use it, knowing the historical context, for me, that's a problem. I don't think anybody should be referred to like that at all.
yeah,
But when you do that, not only are you giving the child a negative because you're going with everything else you're saying behind that, but now the child is hearing this word nigga all the time
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
and all the different things associated with that. So it's layers of curses that you're starting to put on somebody or that they're accepting
it is.
without
And,
even understanding.
and that is a word that I still use in my private life, to refer to my friends. And even though we try to take the power back, I do understand it's a lot of negativity in that word. So I get it. I struggle with
But
that, like
but then too,
deciding to let it go or not.
you're right. But then too, you got to understand your audience, right? You got
Mm-hmm.
to understand who you can use that word with and who you can't. If you and I have if we have interactions, right, and you and I are evenly keeled and evenly yoked, and we're using that word, and I hate to, I hate to use it in a joking fashion, but it does sometimes, is a word that is used in being revered or admiration or appreciation. Like it's a word of endearment. But I think it's back with I think Mo, you said it earlier. You said it's when you put certain action behind it is when you change the concept of what it was intended to be initially.
Right.
Yes, there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of pain and there's a lot of history behind the word. But when you use it in a certain circle, it's totally different for us,
Right.
right? I can go to another country and they can say, "Hey, my nigra." It's totally different because it's a different language.
Right.
It has nothing. It doesn't have the negative connotation that it does for us,
Right.
because of some of our history. Like it was so funny. I was watching a comedian one time, and it was a female, and she's British, and somebody said, "Get out of here, nigger," and she's like, "Oh, that's so cute. You know how to use your words. That's cute." Because it didn't mean anything to her, because she didn't grow up with negative connotative
Right.
words. It didn't have any punch behind it. It only offends people if you don't have a higher enlightenment of education and you've been poured into, where it doesn't have any action to you. I think, and this is my opinion, it offends people, and I think people get abrasive with a lot of curses when they didn't get poured into like you did when you were young, David. And the world is teaching them, and they don't have that platform. They
Yeah.
don't have that base. They don't have that base at home to pour into them and say, "No, it's nothing about your skin. People are trying to get what you got, sir. You were born this way, but you got
Mhm.
poured into." And a lot of times in our culture, we get poured into by the wrong person or the wrong people, and that becomes our sounding block, right? That's becomes the person we should be relying on is Big Mama at home, who's pouring in us all the things that we don't want to hear. But the people outside, they're giving us affirmation because they're making us feel good.
So I want to ask Michelle. Michelle, coming up. First of all, did you come up in a Latino household, or was it kind of more Americanized?
Um, Not traditional at all Mexican, because growing up in the border between El Paso and Ciudad Juarez, Texas,
Mhm.
Mexico,
Gee,
we
Paso.
have a lot of influence. My family is not very big. I'm an only child on my mother's side, and my dad has a couple more kids. They're older than me. I don't really have much of a relationship with them.
Okay.
but it wasn't traditional at all. And I'm having a hard time kind of like understanding the whole concept because my experience is completely different. I mean, when I was growing up, when you say that all kids absorb and they copy, I was the exception. I always wanted to be different. I never wanted to copy, and I don't know why. It was what I was shown, the behavior that I got from my mother, being a single mother and all that. It was just the kind of things that I'm like, I don't want to be like that when I grow up. My
Oh.
half sister, things like that. So it's kind of like I'm having
Give me an example of behavior. Give me an example of behavior that you didn't want to copy.
For example, my sister has 5 kids from 5 different guys. And that started since I was in junior high. And I kind of never wanted to be a mother, and that didn't really help me or inspire me to be. And it always was a bad thing with my mom. My mom is like, when are you going to have kids? You're married now. The moment I got married, I'm like, I don't want to have kids. And my mom is like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, there's nothing wrong with me. It's just me trying to be different. And instead of being accepted in my family, it kind of pushed me away. And I can't say that I broke the curse in a way because I'm not part of them anymore. But those kind of behaviors and things, I'm like, yeah, I have the example of the things not to do instead of the things that I wanted to do in my family.
But I think first of all, wait a minute. Yvette said, "I love Michelle too. You look so pretty tonight." I don't know if y'all saw this, but Parrish was just blessing the panel with all types of love.
Yeah, I
And
saw it. That's like the
Rob was
heart.
going ham.
Oh
He
my
didn't see it.
gosh.
She was blessing everybody. She
Oh,
said,
man.
Michelle is wonderful. She said, Shaq is a spiritual woman. Blessings, Moet. Blessings, brother Sherrod. I
Appreciate
love
that.
the house rules. Did she say
No.
she didn't
You
say
do not
nothing
love
about
the house
David?
rules, man.
You're not
You
blessing
are
David tonight?
the house rules, Dave.
Huh?
You are the house rules.
Oh, I am the house
Right.
rules. Okay, all right.
Is it okay if I
So Michelle, you
Yes, sir.
¿dónde es Juarez, Mexico, and ¿dónde es El Paso, Texas?
Oh, what? You don't know?
I didn't
Well,
know
it's
that.
a tip of Texas, and
No.
yeah.
I used to live in El Paso.
What?
I used
Why?
to live off of
Oh,
Viscount.
because you're military.
I used to live off of Viscount.
Viscount, that is Old Town there.
It's hood. It's
Wow.
the east
It's
side.
hoodie.
Wow.
Yeah, we
So
don't like the East
so
Side.
that's so
You haven't seen it bad until you went to
so watch
Brownsville.
this. We
Yes.
had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and we were on Dave Life's After Dark, and we had a couple of conversations. And the reason I was saying traditional,
Destiny is wondering why your accent changed.
oh, I go to Matador fights on Sunday. Come on, you know where I'm at. So listen, when I used to, my first interactions with traditional hardcore Mexican culture was in El Paso.
Okay.
Yeah, they try to when they somehow when Mexican families cross to El Paso, they bring their traditions and they want to
bring
keep
their
them. That's
traditions.
one of the things that we didn't really like about El Paso because they're very, very close.
Traditional and
Yes.
close.
So when you said that, when we were talking about the word last time, that in my opinion is exactly what I saw and what we were talking about now, which is some of those. I'm on the outside looking in, right? I didn't grow up in a Mexican traditional setting where I could talk to people like, hey, I noticed that everybody's Catholic. He's like, no, we weren't traditional Catholic. I was like, really? Because I didn't see that in El Paso. So that was my ceiling, right? I
That's
wasn't
what he was. He was
exposed, I
limited.
wasn't educated, and I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I was like, that's not what I saw. In El Paso, I saw that. I
Are
went to
you
Las Cruces.
apologizing, Sherrod? Are you apologizing for last week? Corner
I mean,
Michelle.
you
No,
got
he's
house
admitting
rules.
that it comes from experience.
No,
Okay.
because you got house rules. I mean, I don't want to get put on the pip.
I'm gonna give you the horns because I feel like Michelle, was that an apology?
And I'm recognizing
I
something
have
here.
absolutely no problem saying I apologize again, because I apologized the other day. Again, I apologize. But the
I
reason I
get
said
it.
that,
I get it
makes
because
so much.
that's all you're exposed to and that's what you're seeing,
That's
and I
all I was
totally
exposed
understand
to.
that. Yeah. Yeah, and,
Cool.
and when I was growing up, I mean, I was the second in my family to leave the nest, if you will, and go to Chicago. You know, another cousin went to Houston, and that's it. Nobody
But
else went, so we're very, very influenced.
but Michelle, you
Yeah.
said your sister had 5 kids, you know, when
Mm.
she was very young. Did other women in your family have kids young and multiple kids young? Or did they just have a bunch of kids? Was that just
No, and see, that's weird because she's my half sister, so she was born in Juarez, and she went very little to El Paso and grew up in El Paso. So she's very Americanized. Most of my people, the women in my family, which are very, very few, didn't even have kids. Some of them are
okay?
the typical spinsters. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
Because it kind of sounded like maybe you did break the tradition if you didn't go the route your mom and sister wanted you to, which was have a bunch of kids. So to
Hmm.
me, I thought you were already the buck stops here person, which is the
Well,
person that breaks the curse. But I don't know if
in
that was
a way,
generational.
but
Yeah.
I'm seen as a black sheep. Let's just put it that way.
Okay. Hold on. Let me play something
Yeah.
because
Were you guys raised together? Just to have clarity
Oh
on that, because I heard something that made me feel like you maybe weren't raised together, and so
no,
that's why there's kind of
no,
two
no, no, no,
vastly
no.
different outcomes.
She's my brother and sister. They're older than me. They're my dad's side, and I didn't grow up with them. So yeah, they
Right.
grew up in a
So
different environment.
that's a key factor
Yeah,
in the
The environment.
differences there. They weren't raised together.
yeah, no,
Right.
mm,
So every time they came over to the crib, you was like, "What up, better?
I'm out of here.
yeah,
You was just like,
yeah.
get him out of here."
I
Yeah,
wanted to. I wanted
It
to.
was.
you were. I know you were. That explains so much now.
go ahead, Shaq.
I wanted to bring up another curse, a traditional curse.
Okay.
Um, you're the first one to make it past 21.
Oh, come on now.
It's
What?
Yeah.
there is a wait a minute.
Come on now.
There's this saying that says black mothers' tears falls on keep graveyards grass green.
Hmm.
And there's another that says I wonder if black mothers are closer to God because they're steadily laying to rest their only begotten son.
Mm.
And I
Dang.
wonder if our skin what did it say? It said how long will it take for us to grow? It says, and I wonder if our skin is dark because we're closer to the sun. And if that is the case, how long will it take us to grow bulletproof skin because we're closer to the gun? It was
Mm.
crazy. It was almost like
Wow.
it's a it's and the reason I'm saying is because of what you said about little nigga.
Mm-hmm.
And it brought up a piece called You Have the Right to Remain Silent. It is my mom had me when she was 15. And I had somebody say, you know what, I don't have to worry about meeting your daddy because you ain't got one. A lot of
Mm.
females don't have their daddy. So I don't have to worry about introducing myself because 9 times out of 10, your dad won't be there. I
Mm.
fell in
Wow.
that category. But I said, but you know what, my mama here. My
Mm.
mom didn't graduate from high school, so they didn't think I was gonna graduate from high school. My mom had to drop out of school because she was at 15, you weren't even allowed to be in school, you was pregnant.
Mm.
Mm.
So those are curses that a lot of people deal with. You about to be 21. You think you're gonna make it?
Mm-hmm.
And they say, well, I never thought I was gonna make it after being. And so that's a lot of people don't think about that. Some kids they are praying like, just let me get past the age of 18 because my dad died, his dad died. It's a generational curse. And a lot of
Yeah.
people don't think about that.
Coming up in Chicago, which was a gang-filled city, I was afraid, number one, that I would get pulled into a gang. I was also afraid that I would die before I was like 21, you know.
Hmm.
And then back in the 80s and 90s, we had movies that began to depict real life happenings in the hood, like Boys in the Hood, like Menace to Society. And although those movies reflected reality, just like rap music was doing, like NWA was doing and stuff early in the gangster rap era, although that stuff was true, it still propagated those images.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And it could have been a self-fulfilling prophecy of promoting more and more, gang violence. Because I mean, gangs spread like wildfire in the 80s and 90s. They were already big in certain cities, That's all. It's global. It's global
Mhm.
because of the music and the movies and the videos and the influence,
The affiliation.
right? And I'm not saying that it wouldn't have grown because it was already growing organically. And like I said, coming from a city like Chicago where everything is gang related, you don't play with that stuff. You like, yo, man, it's serious. You know what I mean? So like when I went to Atlanta, people start claiming some of them gangs, and then I start hearing about Chicago gangs. I used to tell cats, hey, don't play with them. Don't play. Please don't play because it's not a game, y'all. It might be new. It might be new down here in the South, but where I come from, this is real. And that's why when I came to LA, I already knew. Do not play with people's affiliations. It's a real thing. You don't disrespect people because it's a real way of life. Um, but the point I'm making is I had a fear that I wouldn't make it past 23, Shaq.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, my cousin Stacy, he didn't. He didn't. I had a premonition, that something was really wrong. And sure enough, he was shot and killed, maybe a month or two later. The whole family was destroyed. It messed us up. He was everybody's favorite cousin. And it just messed us up, man. We never thought it hit us at home. So rest in peace to Stacy. But that was a defining moment in my life that I came to God in a serious way after that because he gave me a premonition prior to his murder. You know what I'm saying? And so changed my life spiritually, if I'm being honest, changed my life. And the self-fulfilling prophecy, the N-word, the gang banging, for some of us, the crime, for some of us, the hustling and the scamming, or whatever keeping your head above water, making a way if you can, a temporary layoff, good times, easy credit, rip off, good times, ain't we lucky we got them. That's
Crazy.
a whole
It's a
mentality.
song of
Right.
perpetuating
Hanging in the
a
child
lot of
line.
generational
Come on.
curses, right? I mean, the
Hanging in
whole
the child line.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
whole jingle to celebrating curses.
Now here's the thing.
Right.
It was a television show. This is part of it, right? What cursed us also entertained us because it reflected the real things that were happening in
Reality.
our neighborhoods.
Right
So
then.
so let's say for instance, and Michelle, try to jump in. I know we blacker than black right now.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I
But
was going to
jump
bring up the
in.
B word just so she could
Um, I,
participate because that's another curse that kind of lays
I mean,
around the
Oh,
use of that word.
bitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
no, in my situation, and something that Juan actually texted me is like, let me see what the text said because he made like breaking the tradition make me the black sheep even when the traditions were bad. So I
Yeah.
kind of
Black
like want to
sheep is
touch that
considered.
Yeah.
subject.
Breaking
Absolutely. You
tradition
weren't
made you
you
the
weren't the
black
status
sheep.
quo.
Even yes. Look,
Hmm
first of
Yes.
all, you said that's deep. Yes, it is, Yvette. So yes, Michelle, when a person and you've jumped us into the next part of this discussion. When a person says, I'm not, the buck stops here, I'm not doing it. I'm
Yeah.
not committing whatever sins and we talking about sins. And sins can be subjective to people. Some people don't think that cursing is a sin. Some people don't think that drinking wine is a sin, but drinking vodka is. Some people don't think that masturbation is a sin, but fornication is. Some people don't. We get into all kind of stuff, right? Some people don't think that smoking weed is a sin, but no, some people don't think that eating weed is a sin because God gave us every herb to eat, but smoking it is.
Come on now.
No. I'm not judging. I'm putting it out there because that's my job
I
is
was
to
agreeing
put it
with you.
out there and make
Mm.
us discuss, right?
Yeah.
I make us discuss. Y'all, when you say I'm not, the buck stops here, I'm not doing it. You become the black sheep and people look at you like, who you think you are? You better than us?
hmm
Oh,
It
you
is.
think you somebody, Michelle?
Oh
How
yeah,
It
how
is.
that
dare you
totally
not
got
want
that.
children? How dare you not want children? We all have children. You don't want children? It's a blessing,
Hmm
Michelle. Why don't you have some kids? Right?
Yeah.
Wait, before you go to the next topic, Miss Michelle said something about her sister had 5 kids. Well, there was a young lady who came to my office. She had 7 kids. She was 20. I think she was 27. Couldn't read a lick. Came to my office. She said, could you help me with my paperwork?" I said, "Sure." I said, "Baby, you mind if I give you a suggestion?" She said, "No, go ahead." I said, you have 7 kids, right? She said, yes, ma'am. I said, and all of them are in elementary school. She said, yes, ma'am. I said, baby, go sit in the classroom with those babies
Yeah.
and learn how to read. Nobody has to even know that you know. I said, just go every day. So I said, this is a free education. Just go and sit there and learn. 2 years later, she came back to my office.
Yeah.
She said, do you remember me? I said, no, ma'am, I don't remember you. She said, well, you were the lady that encouraged me to go back to school, and I want to give you something. I said, what is it that you want to give me? She said, here's my diploma. Do you know she takes care of me now? She's my nurse.
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm
I
not
love
trying to
that.
be like a bitch about my
No, no, no.
sister, but it's just kind of weird that my mom or my dad never imposed that example on me. It's like, oh, you got to have kids like your sister. I'm like, no, I'm not going to have franchises. That's what I call them. They're wonderful kids, and they already made her a grandma, which is kind of funny. But
Franchises.
yeah, I call them franchises.
Well, I look at it as though her
Yeah.
children were her lifesaver. They
But
actually
it's just
saved
to
her
me,
life.
it's like, is that what you want me to be? Like to not enjoy my life, not have more options beyond that. And I think that's also why I left El Paso recently, because we see all these examples in families. It's like either you're just like us or you're different, and who the hell do you think you
Who do you
are?
think
And
you
I'm
are?
like, I'm
Mhm.
gone. I'm out. I need to be in a city where it's a little bit more progressive and we're not just focusing on the traditions that a Mexican American family is imposing on the younger generation. They want them to keep them right there
I,
in
w-
those middle standards.
I want to play this clip. This is a clip that says it shows the effect of the beginning of bad behavior and how it can be passed down. Okay. So just go with his example and take away from it the source and how it kind of flows. Right. But this is not meant to attack anybody's grandma because he's talking about somebody's grandma. So this ain't meant to attack nobody's grandma. All right.
Say that grandma grew up and had a lot of trauma. She had some very difficult things that everybody knows about, and they have compassion and sympathy and empathy for grandma. But she didn't get help and she didn't heal up. So she's become a very fearful person, which makes her a very controlling person, which makes her a very religious person. And so now she's constantly speaking fear over everyone and everything. And it's out of love, but it's out of unhealed hurt and trauma. And let's say grandma's religious, so she's always quoting Bible verses, and she's weaponizing the Bible to be in control of the family. And everyone knows grandma's not very healthy, but we let her set the system because we feel bad for grandma. Love grandma, but grandma needs to get some help. And unless grandma's healthy, what you're allowing is the least healthy person to determine the culture of the family. It will continue in your children and grandchildren, and you will take a broken family member and you'll turn it into a generational curse.
I want to play that one more time. He said so many things.
Because your children will think, if you don't correct it, that this is normal in how we do family.
All right. So the idea here is it's grandma and she went through trauma. And because of her trauma, she has fear. So look, grandma abused, life is hard, trauma. That trauma makes grandma lives in fear. Fear makes grandma need to control. That control, grandma expresses through religion. Now her religion is weaponized, and y'all all gonna take y'all asses to church. I ain't raising no hellions and no demons.
In this house,
in this house,
Mhm.
and it turns into and listen, y'all know I'm a believer, so I'm not coming down on believing in God. I'm coming down on weaponizing God and weaponizing belief and weaponizing religion to control your kids and your grandkids and your family because you're afraid.
But isn't
Because
that
you don't want them to be traumatized based on whatever trauma you went through.
Say it.
See the
Say it,
source?
brother.
But
See the
isn't
source?
that all black families?
No.
Man, listen.
It's a
First of all,
lot. That is predominant in our culture.
Yes.
now,
That is
And
very
that's
much
why,
dominant in our culture.
and that's why the young folks, us,
yes.
we go to non-traditional churches.
Right, non-denominational churches. We're
Because we are
spiritual.
tired.
We
We are
turn
tired.
We're
away
just
from the
told to
tradition.
go.
Right.
Yeah.
We get tired getting yelled at, barked at, and we say this, right? Once again, we go back to that ceiling. So let me make sure I understand this. That didn't work for you for what reason? I don't want to
Yeah.
talk about it. I don't want to discuss it. I'll leave it alone. Okay, well, you raised me to use common sense, and I've been a little bit more places than you because we never want the master and the student and the pupil to come more than the master for their laws of power. We don't want to talk about that. But at what point do we tell our parents saying, you know, what you're doing is dumb as shit?
Mhm.
Well,
Why
Yeah.
I
can't we
want to,
say that? You know why?
or
Yeah.
Because it's the little kid in us that's still saying, we might get a beating if we talk back. We gonna get shunned if we talk back. And that's not right. I
well,
tell my mother
They
and father
weaponize it.
constantly they're wrong.
They
now let me now.
weaponize it with honor thy mother and honor thy father. They
Yeah.
There
come
you
right
go.
back at you
Yeah,
with
they
more
do
Right.
that.
weapons to
You
use
can't pull out
Christianity
the
against
Bible
you.
what you want to
No,
pull out the Bible to fit your scenario. And
I got a
that's
bowl of
what
cherries over
our
here.
community does. And they
We
don't
do that.
understand. They're
We do
not
that.
healed.
We do that. We do
Yeah,
that.
we get that a lot too as Mexicans. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, when I'm dead, you're gonna regret it. And I'm like, no, when you're dead, I might celebrate it. Sorry.
I became the black sheep when I decided to go to therapy to heal from the traumas and the
Yeah.
different curses within my family because
Guess
I
Okay.
what?
chose that I wanted
Now,
to do things differently.
I've been the
I
black sheep, and you know why? Because guess what I say? No, a
No.
lot. And
yeah,
no is a full, complete sentence.
it
Yes,
is.
it
And
is.
they
It
can't
is.
handle that shit.
It is.
No, I was called the niña no, actually,
Yep.
because I
Nina
said no to
princess.
everything.
Nina is
hmm
princess.
And girl,
Little
No,
girl.
girl.
Girl,
the no girl,
Yeah.
The no
the
girl.
no
Okay.
it's
child.
actually
Yeah.
derogatory, honestly.
That's actually
I
amazing.
told you I
Nina,
learned a
no.
lot in El Paso.
No, Nina,
Wait,
Nina
wait,
just means
wait. So
girl.
I
Yeah,
got it.
niña
Nina
is
is
like
little girl. It's
a
girl.
girl, little
It's
girl.
Yeah.
it's girl. But
Oh,
that's the no girl. The Nina no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I might have been a nigga no. Just no nigga. No
Niño
nigga.
no.
No
so,
nigga. No
so,
negro no.
Yeah.
so
Negro.
my
Yeah.
son,
Negro
my,
no.
my,
Anyway, hold on. I want
my,
to say.
okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Shaq goes.
Go ahead,
Shaq.
baby, go ahead.
Let me tell you what Shaq gonna do. Shaq gonna call me after the show.
No, I'm not. I
Dave,
promise.
I just want to tell you something.
Stop.
You always cutting me off when I'm.
Stop. Because
And so
I'm doing good.
you're right.
We're calling
I'm,
them or we're
I'm
cutting it
playing.
off.
I'm playing with it. I'm playing.
But what did
Listen.
you say to, I'm going to call you.
Go ahead, Shaq. Go ahead, Shaq.
No,
I'm gonna say something my part later.
okay. My son is an atheist.
Mm,
I don't get mad at him because he says I have to respect him because he read the Bible and he don't believe what he says. I can't believe that what you all is telling me telling me to follow, y'all doing the opposite. He said, why would I want to follow something like that? And I have to respect him because he's obedient. He still live his life and he doesn't offend me. But I have to ask him, well, why? I don't even ask him. I say, well, I respect you. My daughter, she does what she does, and I do what I do. Now here's the deal. I have to respect his decision because it's gonna be his own testimony. Um, because what I'm going through, and I follow what I follow, and what my mama does, and it offends me, I have to give him free range. Why? Because it's his own walk. And then when he comes, if he decides to come back around, I still gotta respect the fact that even us being believing what we believe, we mess up on a daily basis.
of
So
course.
how can I tell this boy how to feel? So when you said we promote this and a lot of families do, but I
We
had to
weaponize
change
it.
that I had to change the narrative because I have to understand why does he feel. He said because I don't like the way y'all living.
All right. So I agree, and let me jump in here
She
because
allows
this
him
is
to be autonomous. And I think
well.
that that's wonderful. I
She
think that's very
does.
supportive.
But you've trained up a child and they made what?
A decision.
No. What did the
Tra-
Bible say though?
Train up the child when they're young, and when they're old, they will not depart.
You come back.
Well,
Who's clicking? Somebody's clicking. Please stop clicking.
I hear it, but I don't know.
it's you, Mike. It's you. It's your microphone.
I'm not clicking.
Be
Hold on, y'all.
quiet.
Hold on,
Yeah,
y'all.
that's you. That's
I'm on
you.
mute.
It was Michelle.
No, I was on mute.
It was okay. Somebody. I
Yeah.
muted Shaq. Hold on. I muted Shaq. Hold on, Shaq. Say something, Shaq. It's Shaq.
No, it's not. You should say something. Say something, Dave.
I don't know who it is. It's you, Dave.
Is it me?
Yeah, it's your mic.
Maybe.
Hold,
Yeah.
Be quiet, Dave.
Y'all
It's
playing
the
with me.
earthquake. It's the
Somebody
earthquake.
Dave.
clicking
No, be
fingernails.
quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet, Dave.
Hold on, I'm about to mute Shaq. Hold on,
I got a good.
I'm muting Sherrod. I'm muting. Don't leave, Sherrod. Hold on. There's no clicking. There is no clicking. Hold on. I'm gonna unmute Shaq. Hey, Shaq, you there? Say something.
Yeah, I'm here.
Say something.
I'm saying something.
I'm hearing some clicks. You heard the clicks?
Is it this?
No, it's the mic.
It's
The mic.
It's
The
your
mic.
mic. It's your mic. It's your mic.
Okay. All right, it's cool. See,
See?
I'm gonna.
See, it's
I'm
not
gonna-
me.
That's another.
I'm
That's
gonna-
another
I'm gonna-
generational curse.
You know, but I'm gonna say
I'm gonna tell y'all
something
exactly
real
who it
quick.
was. Oh, Michelle, y'all not letting me talk tonight.
No, because I have points to make.
Respect the mic.
I have points
Respect
too.
the mic. There's
Hold
a
on,
rule,
I'm gonna say
ground
this.
rules.
I'm gonna say this. That was gremlins in the phone. That was the devil. Weaponizing. I'm weaponizing my religion. That was the devil. and I want to say this, and I'm gonna let Michelle go. Look, we talked about religion. I will say this: what our parents didn't do. Some of our parents didn't do a good job of telling us why they believe what they believe and what God actually did for them. All you got was fire and brimstone. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but wait a minute. But why do you believe? Why do you go to church? Why they don't tell us the ups and
No,
downs?
and
You
They
as
don't
a
tell us
child
the
can't ask
pluses.
the question why. You
that's
can't
part of the problem. I think growing up in a traditional family, first of all, you are imposed. You are imposed a religion. You have to go and be a Catholic and you have to take communion. Like nobody asked me if I really wanted. Now that I'm grown up, I'm still kind of religious. I do believe in all that, but it's funny how you mentioned the other day, Sherrod, that if I was Catholic, and you know what, I think that was triggered. That's what triggered me because my mother is the one that is always putting it on me. It's like, you have to go to church, you're gonna go to hell, which is kind of ironic because she being divorced, when she got when she was divorced, she couldn't go to church. She said that she couldn't go to church and she couldn't take communion because she was divorced. And I'm like,
Right.
That's
what Catholics believe.
You got triggered the other day. And
I got triggered because of that. And
I was asking a simple question and you was like,
yeah, because I don't like being questioned in my religion. And it comes from that. It comes from my mom always getting me to me.
Hallelujah. I'm getting religious tonight. You know why?
No.
Michelle, I'm only going to use you as an example, Michelle. Look, y'all. A woman on the podcast said, I got triggered and I was offended because I got a little triggered because it kind of, it hit a chord. And then one of the brothers said, but I wasn't really talking about you. I was just kind of talking about you. Went, ah! But yes, I was a little triggered. I just want to say this. When we say stuff on the show, and y'all will see, the audience don't know y'all. They ain't seen that episode. They'll see that episode in about 5 weeks. Okay, they'll see that episode about 5 weeks, and I'm gonna edit some of those parts out, right? But some of the ladies got triggered. I said something. I said it kind of in jest. Some of the men understood it. It offended some of the ladies. Let's not reveal it because they'll see it later. But I really like the fact that on the After Dark podcast, we can say things that might be controversial, that might be offensive. We can get triggered, but then we can talk about it later and be like, you know what, y'all? I admit that kind of bothered me or that kind of made me upset. We can also admit, I didn't mean to make you upset. That's important because these conversations and the resolution don't happen on these shows. We talked about it earlier today, Mo, especially in the Black community. Every podcast is the gender wars. And yelling and anger and trying to prove everybody wrong. And you a alpha male and you a alpha female and you a bitch and you a hoe and you a this. And but we never come back and say, hey, you know what, y'all? That offended me. I was bothered by that. We never say, Mo. We never say, you know what? Yeah, I believe in gender roles as a man, but that's only because I believe in the Bible and the structure of the household. I'm not believing in patriarchy and oppressing women and taking away women's rights. And I don't believe I'm better than a woman. I just think there's roles. See, that's a conversation you and I had, and we were able to talk about some things. And you were like, and you said your thing, which was, Dave, I want to tear down the patriarchy, but I'm not one of those crazy feminists. I am more of a liberal feminist. Wasn't that the term that we found?
Yeah, I'm a liberal. Liberal,
people-
I can't even say it now. Liberal feminists.
But people don't have those conversations and reach a common ground or an understanding. I want you guys to know that that after dark is where we can talk as adults and we can have controversial conversations and we can apologize and we can still be brothers, sisters, and friends, even if we disagree, or even if it's politics. Hey, we love you, cool. We didn't understand, we didn't agree, or whatever, or we reached this resolution, but it's not a place where we're just gonna beat everybody up and F you, F you, F you, and there's no understanding. And then you go home angry and frustrated and upset, and there's never a resolution. So I just want to put that out there, man. This is what the show's about.
But the crazy part about it, see how we're talking about this and seeing how we are coming to a resolution because we're older. Some of us then been through counseling. Some of us then been through a whole lot of counseling. Some of us then been through a whole lot of counseling. But my whole point being, we could talk about it, but it's not the sexy thing, right? It's not what sells. It makes sense. It's commonalities among us. It's one of those things where individuals can say, you know what, I might have been wrong, but this is the reason why I had that perception. Is because of things as I've been, things I've seen, things I've done. Now I triggered you. We're talking about it. But see, society in itself is cursed because they keep perpetuating that bullshit. They keep perpetuating things like, and I'm not talking about, there's certain reality shows that's the drama and the bullshit that they keep it up because it sells. It sells.
When we are taught as well, we're taught that we should never be open like that. We should never be seen like emotionally naked. You know, you have to be a man. You have to be a grown ass woman. Don't show your weak side. And I think that's another issue that we need to break.
It is.
Absolutely.
I want to play the. Go ahead, Shaq. Shaq, go. Shaq, go. We talking.
Sure, look in the chat. I got somebody chat for you, baby. I mean, sorry, I got somebody chat for you. But to Miss to Miss Michelle's point about not being able to show your emotions, even Jesus wept. So if he wept, why can't you?
Yeah.
You can't tell a person not to weep. Can't and not expect for them. You can't tell them to not show to be in tune with their emotions, but to be in tune with yours. They just don't make sense. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Acronym testimony to everybody saying things is my obstacle, not yours. Testimony. Hey, they used to say there's no testimony without a test. There's no testimony without a test. And I'm gonna hit y'all with this. And look, y'all know how we have the Old Testament and the New Testament, right? You know how we have a will and testament, last will and testament when we die. Well, guess what? The Old Testament was the will of God back then. The New Testament is the New Testament of God, the new will of God. One is based on law, one is based on grace. Now, I know some of my Hebrew Israelite friends are going to be pissed off at me, but the law was fulfilled in Jesus. And now we live in the dispensation of grace. Some people don't get that. Some people say, hey, I got to live by the law. I got to do this, and this. That's cool. We believe Jesus came and fulfilled that law, so now we live in grace. But other people will say, hey, you can't take the grace of God so far because you can't be just out here saying, hey, just because grace, I could smash 10,000 women.
That is true.
And say, forgive me, and I'm good. Well, don't play because God is still a God of balance, His law and grace. So I just want to put that out there. And unless the testator die, the testament has no power. I'm going to say that one more time. Without the testator dying, the testament has no power. Your will don't mean nothing while you're alive. It don't take effect until you dead.
Absolutely.
All right. So your testimony is related to your testament. It's what you're going through. But it don't matter till you die.
Dave, ask your question. You may say.
Are you ending on that? Because that was like a drop the mic.
It feels like it. It feels like it. But no, I want to go back to grandma.
I should go now.
We didn't finish. We didn't finish grandma.
Shit else to give to that.
We didn't finish grandma. We didn't finish grandma. Go ahead, Shaq.
I mean, shit. I feel like I'm in the coffee house.
When you told me that it's some platforms.
Yeah, that's the Sherrod brought the silent applause. He brought that to the show.
Okay.
That's sound applause. Yeah. Yeah, there
Some
you go.
platforms are not okay with speaking a piece, but I think because we're talking about um, breaking generational curses, I
You
would
got something you
ask
want to
you.
share?
Yes, but I can
Um,
wait.
yeah, you can read my mind. I'll let you close the show with your poem. All right. So I'll let you close the show with your poem. All right. So
That's what I'm calling
let
him.
let's right. You're gonna be like, Dave, you ain't let me say my poem.
He's so stupid.
All right. I want to play this again because he said a lot. So let's try to go back and remember he's talking about grandma, but it could be grandpa, it could be ma, it could be dad, it could be uncle. It's any matriarch or patriarch. It's any elder that kind of sets a tone, and then the family kind of follows there. All right, Sherrod had to bounce. So, hey, Sherrod, thanks for joining. Shout out to brother Sherrod. He had to bounce. All right, we're gonna play this, and then we're gonna get into a little conversation. We're gonna get into Shaq's piece, and then we're gonna bounce. All right.
Let's say that grandma grew up and had a lot of trauma. She had some very difficult things that everybody knows about, and they have compassion and sympathy and empathy for grandma.
Let's stop there. How many of us know someone that's had a lot of trauma? Whether it's our mom, our father, some older, maybe it was us. Like a lot of trauma, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, they went through so much. I feel so bad for them." We got to kind of let's watch ourselves around grandma or grandpa because they've been through a lot. Let's be sensitive. So the trauma is very real, but what happens after that?
But she didn't get help and she didn't heal up.
So no help. So now you got a person that went through all types of life trauma and never got any counseling, any therapy, never got any tools to deal with it. They just lived through the trauma and survived. Okay.
So she's become a very fearful person, which makes her a very controlling person.
So fearful because no way to cope with all of the symptoms of the trauma, all of the PTSD from the trauma, no tools, no therapy, no counseling, no group chats, no self-help, no 12 steps, no nothing. I just been living with it. So now I'm afraid that the same thing's gonna happen to my daughter, my son, or I'm afraid it's gonna happen to my grandchildren, or I'm afraid it's gonna happen to these children in my daycare or my purview, or my neighbor's kids, or my church kids, or these babies around me. I'm afraid. And it's legitimate, but you know, and he said it becomes controlling. Like because it's controlling, I gotta make sure that I don't let people do this because you're not gonna hurt nobody around me.
Person, which makes her a very religious person.
Now, grandma took the control to a religious point, but some people take the control to a military standpoint, a very ordering, do as I say standpoint, discipline standpoint, right? Sometimes the control can manifest in a eating disorder, like bulimia or something like that. It can turn a lot of ways. Control. It don't have to be religious, but that's the example.
And so now she's constantly speaking fear over everyone.
That's the word right there. How many of y'all know people that everything out their mouth is fear? Yep. Everything out their mouth is, okay, and I'm going to say this. My mom don't hear this and get mad at me. When I was a kid, my mom was scared of water. She's scared of the ocean. She don't swim to this day. So when I was little, I was scared of the swimming pool. I was scared. Right? I was like, oh man, I'm scared of water. Why? Because mommy's scared of water. I'm just scared of water. Then kids start telling me, yeah, Jaws is in the deep end. So I really got scared. I'm thinking fish is in the deep end. Then she says, we're going to take you to the YMCA. They're going to teach you how to swim. So, they teach you to hold your breath and hold on to the side. Don't be afraid to put your eyes, all that stuff. You don't never leave. Then at some point they give you a paddle board. I was scared as hell. I did not get on that paddle board. I was scared. I was like, no, I'm not going to hold that board. I'm scared. I'm going to stay right here next to the side. Because as long as I got my hands on the side, I'm not going to drown. Why did some grown ass kid throw me in the deep end?
You better swim.
Literally. All I had was one of them little boogie, they call it a boogie board, a little paddle board. I had the board. If you hold on to the board, you shouldn't go under. This joker tossed me into the deep end, and all I had was a board. I did not know how to swim. We're not talking about somebody that know how to. I couldn't swim. So now I'm in this thing, and people are like, it's a shark. You better get back to the side. Hurry up. Now he's traumatizing the hell out of me. And I'm holding on to this board for dear life, trying not to go under. I didn't know to get on top of the board, to roll over, paralyzed with fear. But based on my mom saying all that stuff. Those fears paralyzed me as a kid, and they had to jump in there and get me. I could not paddle to the side. I was frozen. Now, as I got older, someone taught me at, I think, Boys and Girls Club, how to hold my breath, how to swim underwater. Then we moved to Atlanta. I started getting closer to the deep end because I could swim underwater now. I at least knew I could get back to the side, right? I got to the point to where I can swim in the ocean now. I'm not a dolphin, but I'm not paralyzed with fear. But if I had stayed on the path that my mom gave me of her fears, don't drown, stay out the water, Hank, David, stay. Yeah, I would have never ever overcame my fear of water. That's an example of someone, taking us all the way down and living by fear, and those fears are being spoken over people. Sorry if you hear this, Mine. Don't take that personal.
Fun and everything. And it's out of love, but it's out of unhealed hurt.
It's out of love, but it's out of unhealed hurt, trauma, or fear, whatever it is.
Hurt and trauma. And let's say grandma's religious, so she's always quoting Bible verses, and she's weaponizing the Bible to be in control of the family.
We talked about that. Her fear makes her want to be in control, because if she controls things, then she can save people from being hurt. So if I can stop you from being hurt, then I'm going to do that. And if that means I got to be mean and controlling, and I got to tell you, don't do this, don't do that. Everything is fear. Everything is negative. Everything is, I'm afraid. Everything is, you're going to go to hell. Right? Instead of showing them the love, you're showing them fear, 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 torment, torment, torment. And it could be something like fear of swimming. It don't have to be religious. But you know what I'm saying? That negative speaking over the family, and you're the matriarch or the patriarch or the elder, can influence generations.
And everyone knows grandma's not very healthy, but we let her set the system because we feel bad for grandma.
How many people know in Black families, hey, I'm the oldest. Hey, I'm the oldest. Hey, I'm the oldest cousin. Hey, I'm the oldest brother, sister. Hey, mommy and daddy is gone. I'm the oldest. Y'all gonna listen to me now. We do that. I don't know if y'all do that in Mexican families.
Yeah,
but that
for sure.
hierarchy is big.
Yeah,
in
there
Black
is a
families.
hierarchy.
Right. And now if the person in the hierarchy, grandma passes, and grandma's trauma and fears pass with her. But now uncle inherited some of that and developed his own level of control, and look, uncle might say, hey, y'all ain't got to go to church. Okay. Y'all ain't got to do that. We drink on Sundays. We watch football. And in my house, you going to be a man. You can come up here with this beer, help me on this grill. We're going to watch this game. And you know what? We're not going to let no woman control us, because grandma ain't here no more. And guess what it is now? It's our show. And now it's you just went from one pendulum to the next of control based on fear resulting from trauma. Can we talk about this?
One level of trauma and fear got a lot of people saved. I gotta go back to Harriet Tubman. Her trauma and her fear saved a whole lot of people who were living in trauma and fear. She said, I never lost a slave. She said, the only ones I lost was ones who didn't believe they were slaves. So her trauma and her fear, she said, you do as I say. If not, I will knock you out. But you're going with us. I mean, so it just depends on the intentionality behind it. She said, ain't nothing right.
That's true. And you look, and you could, and look, y'all, I don't want nobody to think I'm beating up on the church, because I'm not. All right, I'm a church kid. I'm a believer. But let's be real. It's a lot of hurt that comes from the way we weaponize church, the Bible, religion for that matter, not just the Bible. But let's be real, y'all. So yeah, Big Mama was hard on us. We all went to church. We all got saved. We all know the Bible. We're not going to stray. But Lord have mercy. Some of us don't want to go to church no more. Some of us beat people up with the Bible. Some of us, we say the right things, but we out here splitting it open and busting it open. We party better than the greatest, because, when grandma wasn't around, I'm going to get it in. You know why? Because y'all are not going to control me. And, it can manifest in many of ways, and so part of breaking the generational curse is saying, I'm not going to do that. I'm not proud to say that my father hit my mom, and she probably wouldn't want me to share that. Right. But
the only one.
Yeah, my father hit my mother, and I absolutely refuse to hit a woman. To this day, I have not laid my hands on a woman. I won't do it.
Just call me out.
Hey, Can I show him the guns, please? Just show him one gun.
Pew
Just
pew.
no, that's what
Wow.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Whoa.
That's
Look
what
at
I'm
that.
saying. That's what I'm
A
saying. So
little Idaho potato under there.
Scared.
She
a,
said
wo-
a little
a woman act
I was like,
crazy.
a whole
Look,
potato.
a woman want to get froggy. If Destiny can't handle it, I'm calling Shaq. I'm like, baby, what you want me to call Shaq? Or you got this. So yeah. So, but no, man, like, yeah. So you can break the cycle by saying, I won't be that. I refuse to be that. I'm going to be something different. And you know, y'all, like Shiraz said, he was talking to somebody about generational curses, and you know, his daughter's had a 16th birthday. Shout out to his baby girl. It's like I believe that these topics and these shows come up for a reason. I really do. So we're gonna close it out. Let's go around the room. Anybody have any? We're gonna go with Shaq last because I'm gonna let you do your piece. Michelle, thoughts on breaking generational curses and family trauma.
I mean, yeah, I think it has to be done. You have to be very careful. You have to have the proper help. Like go to your shrink because it's a really hard process, especially, with that video of the grandma. That was my mother completely. Like
Mm.
trying to control, trying to, hey, she doesn't want me to suffer like she did, but she's completely irrational. Like I got a good guy, I got a good education, I got a good head on my shoulders, and I ended up being the black sheep, and I'm just like I'm cutting everybody off, and I had to cut them off because they won't understand it, they won't accept it, and they're not going to change their behavior. So yeah, it's a tough one. It's a very tough, traumatic one. It could go really deep, black
Yeah,
hole.
yeah. Well, listen, kudos to you for saying, uh, I have to cut people off in order to break the curse and not be, because look, if someone is saying, oh, that's not a good person, you shouldn't marry them. Why you get with that man wine and blah, blah, blah," you're like, no, no, I got a good one. Y'all don't see it
Yeah.
because in the
But here's the ironic thing, Dave. It's just they know that I got a good guy, and they were afraid that I was gonna fuck it up. It's not about being afraid that I got a bad man or anything. No, no. You got to be careful. If you don't pack his lunch, if you don't iron his shirts, if you don't become the traditional wife that we expect you to be, then he's gonna leave you. And I'm just like, no, like I'm the bad guy. So that's even
so it was
worse
that
because
fear. They tried to put the fear on you that if you don't behave a
yeah,
certain way,
they made me
you're
the
gonna
bad
lose a good
guy.
thing.
They
Okay.
made me the bad guy, and it
Because
made
they
me
made those
very, very
mistakes.
insecure.
Because they
Very,
made
it's a
them.
big trauma on my part. So
What kind of
yeah,
drink you over there making? Because I hear some ice, baby. I hear some ice in the
yeah.
glass. What
He's
are you doing?
shaking some cocktails, and since I'm talking, I can't mute it. And yeah,
Listen.
Make one. I wish I had one, man. I wish I
The
had one.
cocktails look beautiful, by the way. I saw them.
thank you.
It looks beautiful. Whoever said they did a great job.
He got to tell us what we're making. So he got to tell us
He's making a penicillin, I
A
believe.
penicillin.
what's
Yeah,
in it.
it's
It's pink.
cognac and ginger and
That's
lemon
some.
juice. It's delicious. It's one of my
It's
That's
called.
some.
favorites.
Oh, that's that
And I and
yak.
I and I had a dirty martini.
So wait, so you
Yeah.
have vodka and now you about to have cognac? Oh, y'all about to
She
have a
better
night.
I
listen.
Y'all
thought you
about to
had
have a
Listen.
night.
Paloma
I'm
earlier.
About to
sorry,
have a
I have a
night.
high tolerance.
Hey, enjoy. Amen. Enjoy. Hey,
And it's
hey,
Thursday night.
listen,
It's
listen.
allowed.
Clearly,
Ladies' night.
clearly, y'all know how to keep each other as husband and wife. I was gonna say you know how to keep your man, but he know how to keep you too.
Oh, but yeah.
And she's
Yeah,
at home, so she's
And
that's
I'm
what
safe.
I
at
said.
home.
Enjoy,
Yeah,
enjoy.
Yes. This is a
absolutely.
traumatic conversation. I need my alcohol.
I understand. I understand. Well, I appreciate you for sharing. All right, Mo. Closing thoughts on generational curses, family trauma, and you said you was only gonna do an hour, and look at you.
I know. This is how much I love you, Dave.
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
I'm cutting into my
Oh,
spiritual time right now. To
Oh,
me.
I get
thank you. I appreciate that.
But I celebrate all the change um, breakers that are here tonight. To see that everybody on this panel has been in therapy, and we all seem to be celebrating that we're all the black sheep. I love all of you for being that way, and I just encourage people to go research, go find out why you believe everything that you believe. Figure it out. one way or another, do that deep soul dive, whatever you want to call it, whether you get counseling, whether you seek it out on your own, you just research, whatever you got to do, break the chain. Be the change that you want to see, because that's the only way it changes. And you have to stand firmly in that. It won't be easy. It's going to be hard, but it's worth it. And you are here for that purpose. If you feel like you're being treated that way in your family, you're the reason why your family is going to become greater.
Wow. If you feel, yeah, there was a article that said if you are resisting generational curses and family trauma, you're the one that's going to change it. You're the one. If you really feel strongly like, no, that's not me. No, I'm not doing that. No, then lean into that. Go ahead and be the black sheep. Be the one that's going to stop the generational curse. And on top of that, treat your children and teach them better. Now that you know better, do better. Don't repeat. Don't repeat. Just because, you're an adult and you're a parent now, don't mean you got to go back to all the old ways. Some of them old ways need to be left. Oh,
Be a
and
better
so,
example.
But you
right.
have to be aware that I might be a very steep price to pay for your
Yeah,
own sanity and peace.
absolutely.
Wow. Say that again, Michelle. What do you
Um,
mean?
be aware because it's gonna cost you. I mean, I'm alone. I
Yeah,
don't
you
have
lose
any
people.
family. I don't talk to my family at all. I have Juan and whatever friends that I'm making right now, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it gets
Michelle.
Mm,
lonely, but in the end, it's like I'd rather be alone than to be surrounded by a bunch of people
Chaos.
that put me down all the time.
yeah. I
Sucks.
wonder, this is going to sound crazy, but some people say you can't choose your family, but you choose your friends.
No, you
Hmm.
can't choose your family, but you
Yeah,
can't
and
choose
your
your
friends can
relatives.
become your family
You
if
can't
you
choose your
find good
relatives, but you can
friends.
choose your family.
Okay, you can't
Hmm.
choose your relatives, but you can choose your
But you
family.
choose
I
your
understand.
relatives.
Got
But
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100 years from now, no one will ever know that any one of us necessarily existed.
Absolutely.
But the things that will be left behind are the impressions that we made for our families, the things that we decided to break, the changes that we decided to make. Those things will stand firm. They may not remember your name, they may not even know it,
They gonna
but there
remember
will
my
be
name.
something greater left behind because of the things that you sacrifice now.
I
It is
agree.
very lonely,
It
but
is.
it will have an impact.
But they gonna remember my name. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. My name is David.
There it is. He's spoken.
I'm gonna leave it right there.
There it is.
Shaq, give us. You have. By the way, Shaq, we have 12 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you however long you need. Let's say 5 minutes, Shaq. Give us
Got you.
your poem.
Lord, it's so hard
Oops.
living this life.
Yes. Go.
A constant struggle each and every day. You see, I'm a word because greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. I'm a movement. You see, I dance to my own tune, allowing not a fraction of my innermost totality to be consumed. I am the brick and mortar. I possess the power to destroy and restore order. I'm a queen. You see, I quietly unleash elegant energy naturally. Now I ask you, how dare you? How dare you stand bold and unbothered on the very ground that bleeds the flesh of my father's father and drip the milk of my grandmama's breast? How dare you? And how dare you turn your back on those that sacrifice their back so that you can reach back to give back? Baby, how dare you? And how dare you disrespect the melanin in your skin just to blend in with the Europeans who stole the souls of our old, bucked our men and raped our black women? Baby, how dare you? And how dare you disregard the woman who gave her life in sin so that your black ass could live without any hesitation? How dare you? How dare you look down on our singers who were beat down because their skin was brown, treated as misfits, so that you could sit, stand, kneel, or however you see fit, so that at the end of this day, you can unapologetically say, Mama, I graduated. And although you didn't ask to be here, my dear, you see, I gave you the very best part of me. I gave you the flesh of my flesh, the air that I breathe, the line of my life, the keys to my history, so that your black ass could be free. To one day rewrite a legacy with the understanding that you could never be without my story, my testimony, my bloodline, and my legacy. Oh, baby. You see, there's nothing more that I want than the very best for you, but not at the expense of losing you. Not to them, but because you've been blinded by society's definition of acceptance, baby. You have most definitely lost sight of you. The wars that were fought, even the lives that were about the blood that was shed for you and your sister to your fucking head. How dare you? You see, I'm gonna sacrifice my life so that you could be the next Booker T, Maya Angelou, Marcus Garvey, Michelle Obama, even Muhammad Ali. But baby, please don't forget this dope ass Shaq G. You see, because my love runs deep, and this covenant I'm gonna forever keep. So to deny you is to most definitely deny me. And if asked if I would do this shit all over and over and over again, I would say, Lord, it's so hard living this life. A constant struggle each and every day. 'Cause I want to be free, completely free. Lord, won't you please come and save me? Poem.
Amen. What do you call that piece?
How dare you?
How
That was
dare
beautiful.
you?
That was
How dare
beautiful.
you? Ladies and gentlemen, that has been After Dark, y'all. We covered everything. I appreciate everybody for joining. We talked today about generational curses, reversing generational curses. Thank you to Brother Sherrod, Shaq Gervin, Dope Female Trainer, Moet Mo24, and then inside the Drinker Studio, bartender Michelle F. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, man, we'll see you on the next episode of After Dark. Make sure you tune in to us every Thursday. All right. And we'll see you guys soon. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate y'all joining. All right. Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. Yep. We out of here, y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe to us on YouTube, y'all. All right. It's Dave, man. Peace.